Would you do it?
Do what?
Carry my child.
The elevator doors slid open with a soft ding and Tiara Malcolm walked straight into the wrong meeting at the worst possible time. Her thrift store heels clicked on the marble like gunshots. She clutched her delivery clipboard to her chest, praying she didn't look as out of breath or out of money as she felt. This was the 57th floor, too high, too shiny, too far from the life she knew. "Ma'am, this isn't what," the receptionist whispered, but it was too late. Tiara pushed open the glass conference door and froze. 12 board members stared at her. But the man at the head of the long glass table, he didn't look at her to know. He glared at the man sitting across from him, tall, sharp jaw, broad shoulders straining against a tailored charcoal suit. His name was CEO Junwoo Kwon, and everyone in Seoul knew three things about him. He never smiled, he never apologized, and he never ever asked for help, until today. Because the first words Tiara heard, loud and clear, before anyone realized she wasn't supposed to be in the room, were $50,000. Silence. Dead silence. Junwoo's voice was cold, clipped, shaking slightly with anger. $50,000 to any woman willing to carry my child. I need an heir, and I need one immediately. Tiara's mouth fell open. The boardroom nearly fainted. One man coughed. Another choked on his coffee. A woman whispered, "Is he insane?" Tiara just stood there, delivery uniform wrinkled, mascara smudged from rushing in the rain, staring at the hottest, most stressed, most emotionally damaged CEO she had ever seen. And then he noticed her. His eyes locked on hers, confusion, surprise, interest. A flicker of something darker, needier, like fate had just walked into his crisis with curly hair and warm brown skin. Everyone turned to look at her. The room went silent again. Junwoo tilted his head, studying her like she was the answer to a question he hadn't dared to ask. "Who are you?" he said, voice dropping lower. Tiara blinked. The sandwich delivery girl?" The board members gasped. Junwoo stood, powerful, intimidating, beautiful, dangerous in the way only a lonely billionaire with a ticking deadline could be. He walked toward her, slow, measured steps, as if drawn by an invisible string. He stopped right in front of her, close enough that she could smell his expensive cologne, close enough that her heart started doing gymnastics. He looked down into her eyes and said, "Would you do it?" Tiara nearly dropped her clipboard. "Do what?" He didn't blink. "Carry my child." Her soul left her body. "Sir, I'm literally just here with a tuna melt." But Junwoo wasn't joking. Not even a little. His voice cracked barely, the first sign of the desperation he'd been hiding. "I need an heir. My father is threatening to replace me. I don't want a marriage. I don't want love. I just need a solution. Immediately." "And you walked in." He swallowed. "You look healthy, young, strong, perfect." Tiara stepped back. "Perfect? For a tuna delivery or for being your incubator?" Another gasp from the board. Junwoo ignored them. His eyes stayed on her, softening, searching, almost pleading. But Tiara straightened her spine. "No, absolutely not. I'm not some baby machine you can just buy for $50,000. And with that she turned around and walked away, leaving the richest man in the room stunned, staring after her, breathless, hooked, and completely unaware that in exactly 7 days life would drag them back together in a way neither of them could escape. Tiara Malcolm was having what she liked to call a "God, please just take me home" kind of day. Her morning delivery job had ended in disaster. Wrong building, wrong floor, wrong boardroom, where she heard a billionaire CEO offer $50,000 to any woman willing to carry his child. She had never run so fast in her life. But that was hours ago. Now she stood inside Seoul University Hospital, where she worked her second job as a part-time patient assistant, cleaning rooms, pushing wheelchairs, helping nurses, doing anything for a paycheck. She was tired, hungry, broke, and dangerously close to tears. At the vending machine, she shoved her last 2,000 Korean won's bill into the slot. Rejected. She shoved it again. Rejected. She slapped the machine. "You know what? I'm fighting you after my shift." The machine beeped like it was laughing at her. Tiara dropped her forehead onto the glass. "I work 3 jobs. The least you could do is give me peanuts. I'm literally begging a machine. I hate my life." A low voice behind her said, You shouldn't say that. Your life seems interesting. Tiara jumped and spun around and nearly screamed, "So Junwoo Kwon." The same man she fled from earlier. The same man whose desperate baby offer she overheard. The same man whose boardroom she accidentally invaded. He was leaning against the wall like he owned the hospital. His tie hung loose. His sleeves were rolled up. His hair was slightly messy, handsome in a dangerous, exhausted way. Tiara swallowed. Hi. Junwoo's eyes swept over her hospital badge. You work here? Part-time, she said. Nurse assistant support. I do whatever they need. I'm basically the helpful fairy with a mop. His eyes softened just for a second. You have 2 jobs? 3, technically. I braid hair in my apartment kitchen when the lighting cooperates. A breath escaped him, almost like a laugh. Almost. Then he inserted a 10,000 Korean won's note into the machine. Tiara panicked. No, don't really, but the machine obeyed him instantly. Peanuts clattered down. Of course they did. He handed them to her. She looked at the peanuts, then at him, suspicious. Is this your way of asking me to be your baby mama again? A nurse walking by choked on her coffee. Junwoo stiffened, ears turning red. It's literally peanuts. Symbolic peanuts? Why would peanuts be symbolic? I don't know. Rich people do weird things. His eyes twitched. 2 days later, Tiara was delivering charts across the hospital. She tried to focus on her job and ignore the memory of that day, but fate wasn't done with her. She rounded the corner and ran straight into him. Junwoo Kwon, standing in the genetics lab, looking as cold and precise as ever. He paused, eyes locking onto hers. You again, he said. Voice clipped. Tiara's knees went weak. Yes? Me? He stepped closer. We need your help. My father, he's in critical condition. And you are the only compatible donor we've found in this hospital. Her heart raced. She wasn't a hero. She was barely holding her own life together. I'll help, she whispered. And just like that, their worlds collided. 1 test. 1 moment. 1 choice. And Tiara realized she couldn't go back to the life she had before. Tiara Malcolm sat stiffly in the reclining chair, the sterile smell of the lab filling her senses. Her hands gripped the armrests tightly, nails digging into her palms. She tried not to look at Junwoo Kwon, who was standing across the room, arms crossed, a sharp suit perfectly fitted despite the hectic pace of the hospital. You really didn't have to come, she said, voice tight but laced with humor. Hoping to break the tension, Junwoo's eyes flicked to her. I needed to make sure you were okay, he said simply. She almost laughed. I'm fine, really. You're not my babysitter. His gaze softened slightly, and for a second, the intimidating CEO persona melted. He was just a man, a worried son, and somehow, she found herself looking at him differently. The nurse approached with a tray of medical supplies. Miss Malcolm, we just need a few vials of blood to confirm compatibility with Mr. Kwon's father. It's a standard procedure, painless, quick. Tiara nodded, forcing a smile. Sure, painless, right? The nurse inserted the needle, and Tiara's hand jumped instinctively. Junwoo immediately stepped closer, voice low. Are you okay? I'm fine, she said, trying to sound braver than she felt. He didn't step back, not even when the nurse filled the vials. His presence was overwhelming, tall, broad-shouldered, impossibly close. Tiara felt her heart skip as he studied her like she was the answer to some question he had been chasing his whole life. The vials were labeled and rushed to the testing lab. Tiara had a few moments to breathe or try to. You're special, Junwoo said quietly, almost to himself. I've met a lot of people. None like you. Tiara blinked. I'm just a girl who works too much, sir. And maybe overuses sarcasm. A faint smirk tugged at his lips. Maybe, but that's exactly what caught my attention. She flushed, quickly looking away. Minutes later, the doctor re-entered, clipboard in hand. Miss Malcolm, the results are in, Dr. Min said, voice calm but holding a note of awe. You are a perfect genetic match with Chairman Kwon. In fact, the odds of finding another compatible donor in this hospital or even in Seoul are extremely low. You're the only candidate. Tiara froze. Her mind raced. This can't be real. She whispered. Junwoo stepped forward, hands in pockets but voice earnest. It is real. You can save my father's life. Tiara's stomach twisted. She wanted to say no, to walk away, to pretend this wasn't happening. But deep down, she knew she couldn't. Not after everything she had been through. Not after seeing her sister fight for life back home. I'll do it, she said finally. Junwoo's relief was palpable. For the first time, she saw the mask of control slip. His shoulders relaxed just slightly, and his voice softened. Thank you, he said quietly, not as a CEO demanding a favor, but as a son desperate to save his father. Tiara glanced at him, suddenly aware of how close he was. The scent of his cologne, woodsy, sharp, and intoxicating, lingered in the air. Her heart beat faster than it should have. You're not like I thought, she said, softly. Almost to herself, he tilted his head, curiosity in his dark eyes. Not like you expected? I expected scary, rich, untouchable, she admitted. Instead, you're human, vulnerable, and honestly, a little intimidating, but not in a bad way. He didn't smile, but the way he looked at her made her chest tighten. I'm glad you're here, he said, voice low. Tiara looked down, pretending to adjust her sleeve, though she couldn't hide the flush rising in her cheeks. Something had shifted. Something unspoken hung between them. This was no longer just about a blood test. It was about two people whose lives were colliding in ways neither expected. And neither could ignore it. Tiara Malcolm paced outside the genetics lab, trying to make sense of everything. Her heart still raced from the blood test results. She wasn't a hero. She wasn't prepared for this. She was just a girl trying to survive in a city where nothing came easy. And yet, somehow, she was now the only person who could save a billionaire's father. She didn't know whether to feel proud, terrified, or furious. The door opened behind her. Tiara. She froze. Junwoo Kwon appeared. His coat perfectly tailored, dark eyes locked on her. He looked calm, collected, and intimidating as ever. But tonight there was something different. Something vulnerable beneath the surface. We need to talk, he said. She crossed her arms. About what? My donation? My superhero status? Or your creepy billionaire stare? He smirked faintly. All three. Tiara rolled her eyes. Well, I can handle two. The third, your stare, needs therapy. He laughed. Just a little. And it sent a strange thrill through her chest. Junwoo's expression hardened again. Tiara, I'm going to make you an offer. She braced herself. She already knew. $50,000, he said, voice steady. To carry my child. No strings. No obligations beyond the pregnancy. Her stomach twisted. I told you no. Absolutely not. I know, he said softly. And I respect that. But this isn't just about money. It's about your choice, your time, and your willingness to help someone who truly needs it. She looked at him, confused. You mean it? Yes, he said, stepping closer. And I also mean this. I don't want to coerce you. But I won't lie. If you say no, my father could die. And I can't lose him. Tiara's heart ached. She knew what desperation looked like. She'd seen it in her own family back home, when her sister's medical bills had piled up. And she couldn't just walk away from someone else's tragedy, not when she had the power to make a difference. Tiara glanced at him, taking in the broad shoulders, the tense jaw, the eyes that somehow seemed to look right through her. I don't know if I can, she admitted, her voice shaking. I'm just a girl trying to survive here, and I have my own problems. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. I know, and I'm not asking you to solve mine. I'm asking you to help save a life. And I promise I will respect your boundaries. Whatever you decide, you are safe. She swallowed hard. Something in the way he said that earnest, vulnerable, honest made her knees weak. You make it sound so simple, she said, trying to laugh. But it came out breathless. It's never simple, he admitted. But sometimes, the right thing isn't easy. Her eyes met his, and for the first time, Tiara felt something shift inside her. This wasn't just about money anymore. This wasn't about saving a life. It was about him. And suddenly, everything became impossible to ignore. Junwoo took a step closer, reducing the distance between them. Tiara's heart raced as she realized just how commanding he could be without raising his voice. "I won't force you," he said, "but I can't stop thinking about you. Not since the moment I saw you walk into my life. There's something about you, Tiara. Something I don't understand. But I can't let it go." Her breath hitched. The words were bold, dangerous, and yet thrilling. "I'm not someone you chase, Mr. Kwan," she said, voice firmer than she felt. "I don't chase," he said softly. "I claim." Tiara blinked. His words sent a shiver down her spine. And just like that, the dynamic between them shifted. And no longer was this just a medical emergency, and no longer was it just an offer she could refuse. Now it was personal, and neither of them could deny it. Tiara sat on the small couch in the VIP wing, her hands wrapped around a warm cup of tea she had grabbed from the cafeteria. Her mind raced faster than her heartbeat. $50,000. A life or death choice. A CEO who could bend the world to his will. And now that look in his eyes, the intensity, the obsession, the way he claimed her without touching her. She took a shaky breath. She wasn't naive. She knew what accepting that money could mean. Scrutiny, judgment, maybe even danger. But could she turn away from a chance to save a life or lives? Her phone buzzed. "Tiara, it's me." Her sister's voice trembled through the line. "Lana, what's wrong?" "My surgery might get postponed again. We don't have the money, Tiara. I don't want to die like this." Tiara's chest tightened, her jaw clenching. This was the reality she had been trying to avoid. She needed money. She needed a miracle. And suddenly, Junwoo's offer didn't feel like an option. It felt like destiny. Footsteps echoed outside the room. Before she could react, the door opened. Junwoo stepped inside, tall and imposing, his dark eyes studying her like she was a riddle he was determined to solve. "You're thinking about it?" he said quietly, taking a slow step closer. "I'm thinking about a million things," she admitted. "My sister, my life, and you." He frowned. "Me? Yes," she said, eyes blazing with honesty. "You make this complicated. You're not just a stranger with money. You're something else. Something I can't ignore." He paused, letting that sink in. Then, his lips curved in a dangerous half-smile. "Good," he said, "because I don't plan on letting you ignore me." Tiara's heart skipped. She wanted to run. She wanted to tell him he was impossible. But somehow, she couldn't. Junwoo pulled up a chair, sitting close enough that she could feel his presence, without touching her. "I know this isn't easy," he said, voice low. "But you should understand something, Tiara. I'm not offering you this just for money. I'm offering you a choice, a chance to save my father. And if you say yes, you're not just helping him. You're helping me. You're helping someone who's desperate and has no other options." She swallowed, emotions twisting inside her. "And if I say no?" He leaned back slightly, eyes darkening. "Then my father might not survive." The words hit her like a physical blow. She had thought this was about money, about obligation, about a cold contract. But now it was something more profound. Life and death. Family. Responsibility. Tiara looked at him, really looked at him for the first time. The CEO, the man who seemed untouchable, who had offered her money as if lives were negotiable. He was human. Fragile in his own way. Desperate. Vulnerable. And terrifyingly magnetic. "You're impossible," she whispered. "And you're the one person I can't ignore," he countered, voice low, almost a growl. Their eyes locked. Time seemed to stop. Neither moved. Neither spoke. And yet, something unspoken passed between them, a promise, a challenge, a tension that neither wanted to break. Tiara's mind screamed at her to run, but her heart was betraying her. She took a deep breath. "I'll think about it," she said softly. "I need time." Junwoo nodded, expression unreadable. "Take all the time you need. But remember this, opportunities like this don't come twice." He stood, moving to the door, and paused. "Tiara." "Yes. I'll be waiting." And with that, he left, Alone, Tiara wrapped her arms around herself. The weight of her choices pressed down harder than ever. One decision. One chance. One life or two hung in the balance, and Tiara knew nothing in her life would ever be the same again. Tiara sat on the edge of a worn leather chair, her hands trembling slightly as she scrolled through her phone. Her sister's voice echoed in her mind. "I don't want to die, Tiara. I can't do this without you." She closed her eyes, pressing a hand to her chest. Her sister's life rested in her hands, and suddenly Junwoo's offer, once absurd, once insulting, suddenly seemed like the only lifeline. The door opened quietly. Tiara's eyes snapped up. Junwoo stepped inside, calm, composed, yet undeniably imposing. "I promised I'd be waiting," he said, his dark eyes locking on hers. "I didn't expect you to be hiding from me." Tiara's mouth opened, then closed. She wasn't ready to explain her thoughts. "Not yet." "I'm busy," she said finally, voice steady. Trying to assert control, he tilted his head. "Busy saving lives? Or busy pretending this offer doesn't mean anything to you?" Her heart stuttered. How did he make her feel exposed with just a look? Junwoo took a step closer, lowering his voice. "Tiara, I know money alone doesn't motivate you, and I know you're scared, but this isn't about greed. It's about saving my father's life." He added softly. Tiara blinked. The intensity in his voice, the sincerity in his eyes cut through her defenses. "I can't just decide like that," she whispered. He shook his head slightly, leaning just enough toward her to make the air between them electric. "You don't have to decide alone. Let me help. Let me support you." Her chest tightened. His proximity, the low timbre of his voice, the intensity of his stare, it was too much. She wanted to tell him to step back, but her body betrayed her. Her phone buzzed again. A message from her sister. "Tiara, please. I need you." Tears pricked at her eyes. She had no choice. She needed to save her sister. She needed the money. Junwoo seemed to sense her thoughts. He reached out, gently placing a hand near hers, not touching, but close enough to make her aware of him. "You're doing the right thing," he said softly. "I'll be here, every step of the way." Her breath hitched. She had expected him to be cold, detached, cruel even. Instead, he was offering her comfort, support, and something she didn't have words for. He stepped closer, his presence overwhelming. "Dangerous." His lips curved just slightly, dangerous and knowing. "Yes," she said, voice trembling. "Because I can't stop thinking about you now." The words hung between them like a spark ready to ignite. He didn't move closer, didn't say a word. But the heat in the room and the electricity between them was undeniable. Tiara swallowed, her resolve hardening. "Fine," she said finally. "I'll do it. I'll carry your child. But only because it can save lives, for no other reason." Junwoo's eyes softened, a mixture of relief and admiration shining through. He reached out this time, letting his hand brush hers lightly. Just a touch. Electric. Fleeting. Unforgettable. "Thank you," he said, voice low, almost reverent. "You have no idea what this means." Tiara drew her hand back gently, trying to regain her composure. "Just don't expect me to fall for you," she warned, though even she didn't fully believe the words. He smirked faintly, dark eyes glinting. "Oh, I don't plan on it. Not yet. But I do plan to make sure you never forget me." Tiara's hands shook slightly as she stepped into the sleek, modern lobby of Junwoo's private residence. Her heart raced not just from nerves, but from the sheer intensity of being in his world. Everything screamed wealth. Polished marble floors, minimalist furniture, and walls adorned with expensive art. She had never seen anything like it in her life, and yet, her mind was elsewhere, on her sister, on the decision she had just made, on the life she was about to commit to. Junwoo walked beside her, hands in his pockets, his posture perfect. His presence was overwhelming, not just his height or his broad shoulders, but the aura of control, power, and danger that seemed to cling to him like a second skin. "You're quiet," he observed, voice low and amused. "I'm just taking it all in," she admitted, forcing a small smile. Good. You'll need to remember it. This is a world you've never known, and it will challenge you in ways you can't imagine. She raised an eyebrow. Challenge me? I already work 2 jobs and nearly lost my mind studying here. What else could challenge me? He smirked faintly. You'll see. A secretary approached, bowing slightly. Mr. Kwan, your legal documents are ready for the contract. Tiara's stomach sank. The moment she had been dreading and secretly anticipating was here. She was about to make it official. Her agreement to carry Junwoo's child. Junwoo guided her toward a sleek office. This is where the contract will be formalized. Everything is legal, above board, and protects you. She nodded, trying to steady her nerves, but her eyes kept drifting to him. There was something about the way he moved, the confidence in his stride, the way his eyes occasionally softened when he looked at her. It made her pulse race. The lawyer went over the details. Medical care, compensation, privacy, and legal rights. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to our channel. Click on the notification icon so that you will get notified whenever a new story is posted. Also leave us a like, comment, and share to others who love good stories.